this story is just by getting out and taking a look.
All right, we want to get you updated on some breaking news going on in Northeast Portland right now. A massive fire is burning at an auto salvage yard in Northeast Portland. This is Sky 8 above Northeast 75th and Killingsworth Street. You can see that giant plume of smoke that has really covered much of the Portland metro area this morning. Firefighters are now asking anybody in or near the smoke area to evacuate and find another place to go for a few hours. That is anybody living between Northeast 72nd and 75th on the streets surrounding Killingsworth. This is a property that has at least 3 structures that have burned, and you can see all of these scrap cars at this junkyard that have caught on fire. This started at 9:15 this morning and is still going very strong. Many fire crews from around the Portland area are here. We want to let you know about some schools also. Beverly Cleary, Fernwood, and Rose City Park schools are keeping those kids inside for recess as a precaution since they are downwind from that fire. As you can imagine, this is extremely toxic smoke with all that metal and oil and gas from those cars. Also, students at Sacagawea Head Start on Northeast 74th are being moved to another school. We want to get to KGW's Chris Willis, who is live near the fire and joins us this morning with the latest on what the scene is out there right now. Chris?
Well, you mentioned 9:15. It started now 11 o'clock, hour and 45 minutes. It hasn't let up at all. Best way to tell this story is just by showing it to you. Look at this. Fire crews, a lot of them. This has gone to 4 alarms now, and a lot of crews are out here fighting this. We're going to start, Dave, right in the middle of this shot. You can see that black smoke. This is an auto salvage yard, so you can imagine there is oil and gas and transmission fluid and power steering fluid probably burning left over in some of these salvaged vehicles. Also, you know, rubber from the tires and a lot of the rubber on these vehicles. That's creating this black plume of smoke. And again, the wind is blowing out of the east westbound. So this wind and this plume of smoke is visible all over the Portland metro area. Now go a little bit to the left, David. You can see firefighters making progress. You see the white smoke now coming up. That was all black earlier, and they're fighting it. You can see from the left side of your screen with that big ladder truck. And then over to the right, Dave, where you can see that big pile of salvage vehicles. Firefighters for the last hour have been dousing that big pile of salvaged vehicles, trying to prevent the fire from spreading to the right, because if that catches fire, this whole thing's going to start all over again. So again, right in the middle where that black smoke is where they're having the most trouble fighting this. And again, we want to mention this. The students at Beverly Cleary, Fernwood, and Rose City Park schools, which are downwind, have been told that they're going to stay inside for recess, closing up the windows and doors. And if you're in that blanket of toxicity, it might be a good idea for you to close up too. 72nd through 75th, homeowners there are being told, you know what, probably a good idea to evacuate and get out of there because, again, with these pollutants burning and not letting up anytime soon, that toxic plume of smoke is going to be hard for a lot of folks. So a best idea, if you can, just get out of here for a few hours. Okay, Sacagawea Head Start too. Nina, you mentioned that. That's the very latest information that we've got. We're going to head down there here in a little bit, but those kids are being taken somewhere else just because no need to chance it. No direct threat for fire, but again, that plume of smoke can do enough damage that a lot of people are taking precautions. We'll keep an eye on it and let you know any progress that's being made. But again, 75th and Killingsworth, it's now 4 alarms, and there are multiple crews out here fighting this. The progress doesn't seem to be getting any better, at least in the last hour and 45 minutes, Nina.
Yeah, Chris, and those winds definitely not helping firefighters. We have been hearing reports of power lines also coming down in that area right near or behind fire engines. Not great for the safety of those firefighters. We've been told that power has now been taken out in that area for the safety of firefighters. But again, so many of those ladder trucks, you see them with the big sprays of water going over this fire, have been called from around the city. They've been even having what are called rehab units for those fire crews that have been on this for now over 100 minutes to kind of rest, you know, get some Gatorade and be ready to go back out there. But yeah, they are really trying to get a handle on that west side as that smoke moves from the right of your screen to the left, because they really can't tell and it's difficult for us to tell from the air what has burned under that smoke plume. Right now, we have heard that 3 structures have burned, as well as how many dozens or hundreds of those cars that have been packed at this junkyard here. It's kind of a mixed use area of Northeast Killingsworth in that area, 75th. And we have been told early on that everyone got out safely, but they're going to be doing another check. They have called fire investigators to the scene as a standard practice. So they just need to get a handle on these flames, get that smoke out, because again, it is so toxic to be breathing that. Okay, we're going to continue to follow this breaking news through the morning and afternoon on air and online. We'll be back with an update on KGW News at noon, then later tonight on our 4, 5, and 6 o'clock newscasts.